Welcome to New Money, where each week we explore the most innovative Chinese businesses and entrepreneurs. I'm Zheng Junfeng. Ski has been a popular sport in Europe and North America for decades, but it's relatively new in China. But the country is now the fastest growing ski market in the world. In today's program, we show you how ski resorts and gear brands are faring in this fast and furious industry. Taiwu Ski Resort is located 20 minutes from China's ski town Chongli and 250 kilometers northwest of Beijing. It is under construction to become China's biggest ski resort. It opened its first slopes on December 15th after 5 years of planning and construction. The final plan includes 200 slopes covering 152 kilometers, 46 lifts, 2 resort villages and 6 hotels. When finished, it will be able to serve 30,000 skiers at the same time, and the cost of all these 20 billion yuan. It will be one of 3 ski resorts in Chongli set to hold the 2022 Winter Olympic Games.
Because the Winter Olympics in 2022, the government involve more investment on this area, and in the future we have the high-speed bullet station around here and high expressway, and all the instruction is more better than right now. So I think for the Winter Olympic, it's help all the ski resorts just speed up the development.
Beijing is building a high-speed rail to Chongli, and one stop will be at Taiwu, reducing travel time from 4 hours by driving to 1 hour by train. For design, Taiwu uses Canadian planner EcoSign, an Olympic contractor. On ski school, Taiwu is the first Chinese ski resort to employ a foreign instructor team. Caesar is the head coach of Taiwu's ski school. He says what attracted him here is a booming market.
We've seen almost doubling in skier numbers in the last couple of years with some other resorts that we've researched. So it's growing faster than anywhere else in the world. If I look and compare to the American figures or the Australian figures, there's very little growth, and in fact in Australia it's flat.
Joseph serves Western food on a mountaintop restaurant. He's from Austria, a country famous for its alpine ski. He says culture is a very important part of ski experience and includes authentic food, apparel, music, entertainment, and much more. Even though many of them are not yet available in China, they will emerge very quickly.
And I think a ski resort, especially here in Chongli, where you have so many facilities and a good infrastructure for the future, I think you need diversity on these gastronomic experiences. Because in my opinion, Chongli in 5-6 years will be not the same. So easy access, yeah, good climate and nice activities, nice environment, differently than anywhere else. I think these are key factors for our industry as well.
With the benefit of its size, Taiwu is planning on having music, movie, art and food festivals. Designed to be a four-season mountain destination, it will also host mountain biking, karting, rock climbing and zipline in the summertime. Of course, all these attractions lead to the high prices of its residential properties. Selling at 28,000 yuan per square meter, Taiwu apartments are the most expensive ones in Chongli, and those on top floor are already sold out, even before finished. You can always find our program on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Weibo and WeChat. Today I'm glad to be joined by Mr. Justin Downs, President of RMG Ski Resort Management in China. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Justin, in the ski resorts, in the ski business, ski industry, ski resort is the biggest business, I have to say, and Taiwu happens to be the biggest one, although it's not finished. Can you tell us the difference between Taiwu and other already existing ski resorts in China?
Well, Taiwu, as you say, will be one of the biggest resorts in the country. It's got a beautiful piece of land. It's very close to Beijing. Of course, we know very well that Taiwu and the resorts in the Chongli region will host the 2022 Winter Olympics. So we will be blessed in that region by some fantastic infrastructure. The developers of Taiwu have spent a lot of time planning methodically every single step and every single component to make this a very successful 365-day-a-year, 24-hour-a-day integrated resort, not just for skiers, for anybody and everybody. So that's what's going to make it really special is that it's not just one-dimensional. There'll be lots of things for lots of people all year round into the future.
So it will be the leader in many aspects and integration of what's not available in this market.
Yeah, I think it will be different to everything else. It's a four-season project. So it doesn't matter if you want to come for half a day or one day. You can drive up from Beijing or Tianjin. You can come in and stay for a week. There'll be something for you to do all the time. And it's not just a series of different activities that are existing within one property. They're all intrinsically tied together and operated as one consolidated unit. So it's actually easy for the consumer to interact, to understand, and to enjoy everything that's going on.
Justin, when I visited Taiwu a couple of weeks ago, I mean, their manager, Vice President Summer, showed me around the sand table where there were many plans about apartments. So these ski-in, ski-out apartments are selling at really high prices in that region. So what's the dynamics of a ski resort selling properties as a way of investment return and also operating the ski resort itself by providing accommodation, lift tickets to customers?
Well, I think investing in real estate in a ski resort is twofold. One is it's a financial investment, and there's many examples around the world, and will be in China as well, where people have invested in tourism real estate and their returns have been very high because the demand is high and often the supply is low. So there's obviously the financial encouragement to do so. But a lot of it is an emotional investment and an investment in lifestyle, right? People really want to, they go, I go there, I want to live there, I want to be forced to go to this place every weekend because I love it so much, so I want to own a piece of it. So the emotional investment is very strong. And certainly developers are going to make a lot of money by selling real estate, but it's a game of patience. You cannot just build all of your real estate in the first phase without showing them that your product is of value, that it's going to be, something that I want to come back to again and again. You can break even on operations, but it takes time to get a return on the initial investment. So you need to have cash flow patience for that part of the business. As long as you can cover your daily operating costs, your labor, all of your supplies, all of this type of stuff, then you're okay. The real estate obviously will help to accelerate the payback on that infrastructure investment.
All right, I think Taiwu will see a fundamental stage of development before the 2022 Olympic Games. And coming up next, after break, we'll show you another ski resort, this one a little further away from Beijing. And it's not going to host the Olympic Games, but it's going to play a very important role in China's ski market, and it's developed by a key developer in China. Welcome back. As the Chinese ski market sees a boom, property developers are muscling into this, looking to grab a slice of the cake. Temperature -10 degrees Celsius. Time early December 2015. Weather heavy snow. Location Vanke Songhua Lake Ski Resort. Scores of ski enthusiasts witnessed the grand opening of China's longest ski slope. Vanke Songhua Lake locates at Jilin City of Jilin Province in northeast China. It's developed by China's largest developer, Vanke. It sounds like a big change of business for a residential developer to build a ski resort in a mountain. Ding Changfeng, a senior vice president of Vanke and creator of Lake Songhua, was among the first to try this trail.
The real estate market will be stable, and maybe when it reached the highest point, maybe it will decline slowly in the next 10 years. So we have a new strategy for the next 10 years. We see huge opportunities of lifestyle.
Wanke Lake Songhua started operation in 2013-14 ski season. That's when China's per capita GDP exceeded $8,000. Ski has become a surging lifestyle in China for the emerging middle class in a number of hundreds of millions. China has successfully won the bid for the 2022 Winter Olympic Games, and Wanke doesn't want to miss this opportunity.
We have more than 12 million skiers every year in China. It will increase 50% to 20% year by year, and we will invest more money in this kind of business. On the other hand, we are looking for the opportunities in Beijing market.
As China's overall economy is slowing, the overcapacity looms in many economic sectors, especially in real estate in second and third-tier cities. Wanke sees developing ski resorts as a rare highlight of investment opportunity, and Ding Changfeng is very confident at Wanke's competitiveness. It has over 300,000 homeowners as their potential customers.
The ski resort business is a long-term return business. It is part of the ecosystem of our group. You know, we have lots of customers in China, so we try to build a platform of lifestyle for our customer. It is an add value strategy for our customer.
Ding Changfeng also says Lake Songhua will work hard in boosting China's ski culture, which has a very short history. He's trying to learn from world-class destinations like Aspen, Colorado in the US in order to add more flavor to the ski lifestyle in China and improve management and service standards. I mean, Ding Changfeng, the vice president of Wanke Group, told me that he wants Wanke to be one of the top 4 ski resorts in China, right after Wanlong, Genting Secret Garden, and Taiwu. Can you help us briefly assess the advantages and merits and shortcomings of all these top players?
Well, obviously, Mr. Ding has chosen Chongli, I guess, as his comparison area, and Chongli has a different type of benefit that the Jilin area does not have. There's 45 million people that are in driving distance within a 3 or 4 hour driving distance of the property. So Chongli is going to be a very much a mass market oriented type of region just because of its accessibility, and now with infrastructure of trains and airports and things like this. Wanlong has been around for quite a long time, and they've built up a very strong reputation. People trust the brand, they trust the environment, and it's a place where they know they can go and they can see people that they know from Beijing, their next door neighbors, their kids' friends from school. It's become quite a family almost. They do a good job, and they've steadily improved their game over many years. Their infrastructure is improving. They're not overspending so that they can manage to control their costs and keep in business. They're not trying to be a year-round integrated resort. They're focusing on what they're good at, and that's the benefit. So people have learned to trust Wanlong. Secret Garden it comes from a Malaysian investment, and their core business has been in mass market development, which is in the cruise ship, casinos and cruise ship business. So they have a different way of servicing their customers and attracting customers and pricing their products. So it's a new type of product that people are just starting to understand. But it attracts a different type of skier, a different type of participant, different type of investor. But they've employed some of the best planners and management in the field, and really trying to elevate the experience in the Chongli region, because they were the second major player to come into the market.
Yep.
Taiwu, as we've spoken about,
latest.
Yeah, Taiwu, the new kid on the block, is really taking a full global approach, or an international approach. They've been very, very methodical about how they implement their plan. They did not rush through the development. They've been very considerate and concerned about the quality of construction. And they're not in a huge rush to just put everything out there. They want to see the supply grow in hand with the market, that they're going to deliver experiences as the customer needs them and wants them, and they're going to operate at a very high level, and I think that's the platform that they're going to play off.
And Lake Songhua wants a piece of this by having this ambition of acquiring the ski resorts around Beijing and also Eastern Asian one in Japan and South Korea. How do you comment on this strategy?
Well, the strategy of buying into what we call the feeder markets is a great one, and there's several international examples, even in North America, where this continues to happen today, because the skiers are coming mostly from the cities, and we need to show them a good experience in their backyard or on their front doorstep. So Vanke's objective of taking the skiers from Beijing, they've shown them a good experience that's attached to their brand. The next natural step is that they're going to go from skiing from 2 hours on a Saturday to wanting to take a weekend trip with their family and their friends. So they'll get on a plane and they'll go to Vanke's property in Jilin, and it's a very smart move.
Okay. Then also, you mentioned a North American experience. Mr. Jin Changfeng also mentioned that Vanke wanted to learn the experience in North America. He mentioned Aspen, a very world-class one. What do you think is available in Aspen that is not available in China, anywhere in China yet?
Well, Aspen has a long history. Aspen is one of the original resorts in the country, and it's really built its reputation over many decades. And China, quite simply, does not have this. Everything that is in the China market is new. So it's going to take several generations for the ski product in China to build up the history that a place like Aspen has. Aspen operates on a slightly different model. They're not market-driven, they're not stock market-driven, they're driven by ensuring that they are positioned as the highest quality product in the country. So,
and the most expensive one. One of the most expensive ones.
Sure, absolutely, and they're not ashamed of that. But they're popular because people have, there's many generations of investment by celebrities or powerful business people or just well-to-do families who have a passion for the industry, have come to trust that the quality of the experience in Aspen is never going to go downhill, because that is the #1 thing the owner is committed to, and it helps. Anything else that Aspen does helps with their platform, that helps with their branding and their platform all around the country. And I think Vanke has the ability to also achieve that, because they're a very successful residential developer. This is their first foray into tourism. It's the first operational company that they're really operating. So they're smart, if they follow this, about setting the bar very high about what they want to deliver to the public, because the public will trust them.
All right, look forward to that. If Lake Songhua can do anything to raise that, to reach the bar that they raised for themselves. All right, after talking about ski resorts, let's take a look at the ski gear market, which is also very important in the industry and seeing phenomenal growth. Welcome back, you're watching New Money. The burgeoning ski market in China is not just a windfall for ski resort developers, it's also a potential gold mine for ski gear market. Remigio Brunelli is making ski boots for his Chinese customers in Ski Time Lab, the first tailor shop in Chongli for skis and boots. The former Italian national team member, better known as Miso in China, has been leading the business of skis and boots brand Nautica in China. He says Chinese skiers have become sophisticated enough to appreciate the importance of ski maintenance and tailor-made boots.
They realize which is the benefit to drive skis, that is good maintenance compared to don't do any maintenance for 3 years. In the past, people they'd never thought about that. Now they're starting to realize how is the benefit. So in this way, we decided to set up the first pro shop in China ever, offering this kind of maintenance and tuning for the boots.
Miso says just 3 years ago, many Chinese skiers were not willing to spend on ski equipment. They would try a lot, but when it's time to pay, they became reluctant. But now they become more addicted to ski and are more willing to invest by upgrading skis and boots. So his patience is finally paying off.
It's dramatically changing. I mean, since 3-4 years, the people are starting to looking for much more appropriate products, not only the most exclusive, but and especially July 31st, when Beijing has been nominated as an Olympic city for 2022. It's you can smell in how changing is on the way, and it will be dramatically over the next 5 to 7 years when the Olympics will come. So less than 6 years now almost.
Miso says he's 48 years old, but he's been skiing for 44 years. The most experienced skiers in China have skied less than 20 years. He says it's just a matter of time for Chinese to learn the ski culture, as middle class here is booming and people's appetite for quality life will drive up the ski market. This is how he compares China market with Europe.
It's like an old man and a young man. I mean, Europe is an old continent, the market is stable, but not hot as in the past, except probably the Alps countries like Switzerland, Austria, that they still be the national sport. And China is booming, like as we discussed, a lot of new ski resorts are opening, therefore they're able to welcome and give hospitality to much more customers. And Chongli is dramatically booming because it's not anymore one long, there are other important ski resorts. This means more welcome, more hospitality, more customers.
In terms of marketing, Miso says though online sales is a trend, offline shop is a better way to communicate with customers, as market here still needs education and, more importantly, services. In terms of growth, rental market is growing by 10 to 15% and retail is expanding by 5 to 10% annually. The Chinese ski equipment market could become the biggest in the world in the next 5 to 7 years. Justin, I know you're quite familiar with some ski brand equipment or apparel brands that are developing in China. For those foreign brands that have not entered into the Chinese market, what's your advice to them? Is this a really competitive market?
Well, it's an extremely competitive market, and there's thousands of brands out there, and some of them you and I may never hear of, but may be popular in their own country. But it's extremely competitive, especially in the hard goods, so the skis, the snowboards, the boots, the helmets. The margins are very, very low.
Ooh.
Because the foreign brands, regardless of where they're made, are selling in volume. So they're making their money in volume, not in per unit margin. So they don't have room really to invest into the marketing of their product or supporting it with events or supporting it with training. So it's a very, very competitive market. I think the apparel market is a little bit different, right? Because I think people can, most of the apparel that's being purchased is being purchased by the consumer, not necessarily by the resort who's renting it to the consumer.
Miso in the program told me about some marketing strategies. Where do you think are the ideal locations for ski equipment brands to open shops, online shops or offline shops?
Well, I think in my opinion, I believe that the best place to be marketing your product to is within the ski markets themselves, so within the ski resorts or in the ski towns, because that is, you already know that people are interested in the product when they come there. If you're selling it in a store in Beijing, basically people are just coming to have a look. In reality, they need to be able to try the equipment at some point. So what's very popular in other countries is demos, so demonstration. People have a chance to see next year's technology, to give it a try themselves, see if they enjoy it, get taught how to use it properly before they actually make the purchase. And the best place to do that is in the resorts. And I think because these purchases are fairly high-priced items to start with, buying them online really needs to ensure that there's a high level of trust, that they know what they're buying and where it's coming from.
So it needs to be offline. There has to be tangible shops so customers can walk in and talk to shopkeepers and get educated, right?
Certainly in the case of equipment, because these are things that you actually physically need to try on. Skis, of course, you can choose what size you might want, but when it comes to boots or helmets or anything like this, you need to try them on. I think people trust buying clothing, so apparel, online, but the hard goods really need to be purchased, in my opinion, in person, in a store, and ideally in a resort where they can try it.
Well, Justin, many Chinese skiers find this quite big gap in prices domestically and in overseas markets. That's why there are increasing skiers that would ski overseas, would buy at overseas those ski equipments. What do you think the reasons of this big gap in those prices domestically and overseas? Do you think these price gaps should be adjusted?
Obviously, any retailer is entitled to make a margin. So there's obviously many middlemen involved along the way of a product that's coming from France or Austria or America before it hits the shelf here in China. And that's natural, that happens in any country.
Talking about customs, tax?
Well, there's that, but then there's also the profits that each of these people need to make along the way. These are imported products, so they're subject to import tax. So in reality, actually, some of the product is even made in China, then it's paid to be shipped offshore, and then paid to be re-imported again. And as a result, you're getting hit with duties, both going out and coming back in again. So these are areas where the government can help to obviously reduce some of the taxes that are imposed on these import-export companies. And then, of course, the currency exchange rate is something there again. Obviously, we know the renminbi is very high. If you were to go purchase in Canada right now, for example, you'll be getting a great deal because the Canadian dollar is extremely weak. So yes, there's always going to be outside forces that are going to make products cheaper overseas, but there can be ways to reduce the cost of the products here in China.
Yeah, Justin, I mean, after so many years, Chinese skiers, customers have become more and more sophisticated. So they get knowledge of all kinds of stuff by their friends and online information. What do international brands need to be aware of before they come to China, or if they're already in China, how can they expand their sales?
Gone are the days now where you can just say, hey, I'm from Austria and we invented skiing, so therefore we can charge you whatever you like. I mean, the Chinese consumer is much more savvy. So I think it's really going to be about making sure that you are upfront with your product, why it is special, make it unique, make it different, but display why it is worth what it's willing to be paid for. And I think trying to hide any of this information and just rest behind the fact that you're coming from a foreign country is not enough anymore. It doesn't matter what you're trying to sell.
Justin, you've been working in China's ski market for 9 years and many more years in other parts of the world. What's your general prospect of this Chinese market, which is growing at quite phenomenal speed, but is still infant in many areas and a bit chaotic during its development?
Yeah, look, I'm extremely buoyant on the industry, but I'm also a realist. China is going through growing pains in this industry. It is growing very, very fast. The product that is being built, the infrastructure, the amount of money being poured into the industry is unfathomable from anybody from any other country. It's great for the industry, but at the same time, it poses threats as well. We really need to invest in the management of these projects. We need to train staff. We need to get people to move to these resorts and make them passionate about living and breathing the mountain lifestyle.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. My pleasure.
That's Justin Downs, RMG Ski Resort Management. As China is shifting from a manufacturing powerhouse to a consumption hub, even a niche market like the ski market will be too important to ignored by industry players. Thanks for watching this edition of New Money. I'm Zhen Junfeng. See you next week.